Hello, today we are going to be talking about Flux Protocol. Many ancient stories have mentioned oracles and how people turned to them for obtaining knowledge on certain things beyond their perception. In the case of blockchain landscapes, oracles serve as systems providing blockchain with information from the real world. A blockchain oracle is a third-party service that connects smart contracts with the outside world, primarily to feed information in from the world, but also the reverse. In the case of blockchain landscapes, oracles serve as systems providing blockchain with information from the real world. What if you need to develop a smart contract for health insurance, blockchain-based medical records, and a pharmaceutical supply chain? In this case, you will need a gateway to obtain information from the external world. The most critical problem of blockchain and smart contracts is that they could not access data outside the network or obtain data. For a smart contract to execute, it needs to be triggered. In most instances, a real-world data is needed for that execution. How sure are we that the data is accurate and tamper-proof? That's where decentralized oracles come in. As evident in the case of certain smart contract applications, some contractual agreements require important information from the external world for execution. This is where you will need an oracle in blockchain. Oracles offer the link between on-chain and off-chain data, all serving as significant elements in the blockchain space. Oracles could widen the scope for applications of smart contracts. Without them, a smart contract could access data only from within the network, thereby limiting functionalities. Let's get a bit technical. A smart contract basically facilitates the automatic execution of terms and conditions in an agreement upon compliance with specific conditions. In the case of blockchain technology, a smart contract could be just a self-executing code that helps in the automatic implementation of terms of the agreement in specific transactions between parties when the conditions are addressed. In comparison to traditional contracts, smart contracts do not depend on trusted third parties and also offer deterministic and immutable components. For example, how often are patients left waiting and wondering if insurance will authorize the important tests ordered by their doctor? This process remains antiquated and involves many steps, including a phone call or even an appeal after an initial denial. The slow manual processes requiring intermediaries are outdated. Smart contracts pull pertinent data from the medical record that satisfies predetermined criteria, allowing authorization in minutes versus days or weeks. The synchronization of workflows between entities and organizations removes inefficient manual processes, time delays, and lost data. Transactions are secure and anonymous, occurring rapidly instead of days, weeks, or months later. Okay, smart contracts can do that. How sure are we the patient needs the MRI? Could the insurance company be so sure that the request is from a real doctor, or just the patient trying to trigger the smart contract to release funds? The data fed to the smart contract to execute payment need to be reliable and trusted. A decentralized oracle could be the source of that accurate and trusted data that would trigger the smart contract. The oracle could be connected with the Internet of Medical Things, the IoMT, to provide live data and the health condition of the patient, which the oracle sends to the smart contract to serve as the terms and conditions in an agreement for the smart contract to execute transaction once triggered. The contract will only execute upon available health data of the patient. So what are the problems of oracle? The most important thing while thinking of a blockchain oracle is the reason for which we use blockchain. Why are we developing on-chain? Decentralization, of course. On the other hand, data needs to come from some source. If you want to import data from a particular source, node, or API, you basically destroy the complete purpose of blockchain. This establishes the foundation for the blockchain oracle problem. Centralized oracles will actually imply that a single entity gains control over the smart contract, thereby making it similar to regular contracts. Furthermore, centralized oracles with the best intentions have also been subject to hacking attempts. In addition, they are also vulnerable to concerns of update and lack of maintenance, which can lead to disastrous circumstances. But every problem has a solution, and the solution to the oracle problem is decentralized oracles. To improve the trustworthiness of an oracle, a set of decentralized oracles could be used. Each oracle uses a separate server that is an off-chain component and queries the data from an independent data source. Similar to the centralized oracle design, a transaction could then be submitted to the smart contract that wishes to use the data or on-chain component of the oracle, that is, oracle smart contract. The smart contract can then determine the data submitted by a majority of oracles as the valid representation of real-world data. Let's discuss the best decentralized oracle out there, Flux Protocol. Flux Protocol is the trustless data layer for Web3. Flux is a cross-chain oracle that provides smart contracts with access to economically secure data feeds on anything. Flux has created an oracle design that provides a totally decentralized infrastructure for accessing data on and off-chain. Validator stake FLX, the native utility token of Flux Protocol, to provide data to the oracle. Flux economically secured oracle enables protocols to secure crowdsourced API and price-fed data from any on or off-chain source. Flux is partnered with top validated companies across crypto like Figment. An interesting feature of Flux is the economic guarantee model behind the oracle. Validators stake Flux tokens behind the data they believe is accurate. Then there is a dispute model built in which malicious act proven false data get their stake slashed. Flux use aggregated data from different oracles. Flux is supported and developed by the Open Oracle Association, a Swiss non-profit entity with the sole purpose of supporting the ecosystem through the distribution of grants both in monetary means through USDC and the Flux token. Flux offers two types of oracles, the first-party oracle FPO and the third-party oracle. Currently, Flux has deployed both oracles on the Near network and the FPO on the Aurora network and Near testnet. The FPO offers a platform on which data providers can directly push their data on-chain using Flux open source provider node, and requesters can immediately query that data. Data providers use their own sources, aggregation functions, hardware, and software to collect their data, prepare it for use, and deploy it on-chain. With the FPO, the data feed reliability, quality, and provision is in the hands of the provider, absolving Flux or any other party of the ability to manipulate the data and route. However, the data is only as reliable as the sources, and the provider's reputation is the only thing on the line if something were to go wrong. The third-party oracle is Flux Big Breath, fully decentralized, permissionless, game theoretically, economically guaranteed oracle solution. The idea is to remove every aspect of centralization that comes with existing oracle solutions, while maintaining the highest quality data provision in the industry. Flux TPO will allow anyone to spin up their own provider node by making it lightweight and inexpensive. You decide your sources, your exposure, your aggregation, data cleaning methods, and what requests you want to provide answers to. Using Flux proprietary consensus algorithm, your data responses are compared to the data responses of other validators until a consensus is automatically reached. Every validator's money is on the line, so bad actors are punished, the honest actors are rewarded. Flux Protocol design has proven to be the most trusted decentralized oracle on the open web today. Become a data validator or requester simply and easily. To get started with Flux, check links in the description below.